KTRS, our good friend who's been coming on the show now for weeks and months. Has it been years?
It's almost a year.
Almost a year. You've been keeping us informed on the Bridgeton landfill, which has taken a back seat only because Ferguson was burning and all of that. But Bridgeton landfill still continues to smolder. Stories still continue to come out, so we thank you for coming on to give us an update.
Thank you.
What's the latest?
Oh, gosh, there's a lot of things going on. One of the latest is that the extent of the radioactive contamination within the grounds of the landfill is much more extensive than had been previously thought. So they're having trouble coming up with a location for the isolation barrier that the Attorney General had promised that would prevent the fire from reaching the nuclear waste.
The state Attorney General or the federal Attorney General?
State Attorney General.
State Attorney General. So, in other words, there was a deal in place that they were going to put a barrier around the radioactive material. But now they don't know where the radioactive material begins and ends, so they don't know where to put the barrier.
Right, so they're still exploring to try to find where it ends. The problem is they can't. It's outside of what was considered the shallow area. The shallow area would have been easy to build the barrier in. Well, nothing's easy, but it would have been easier to build the barrier in.
Right.
Now they're looking at building it potentially in a deeper area, so it's going to require another 18 months of investigation and design before they can begin.
Really?
Additional 18 months?
Yeah.
18 months.
What are residents saying about this?
They're not very happy, and they're hoping that the fire is contained or at least moving very slowly if it's not contained. We'll get more data on that in 2 weeks.
Yeah, so with this fire and with this now that you knew that nobody knew where it was, now that the officials are acknowledging they don't know where this nuclear waste is, how close is the fire or the smoldering to the nuclear waste where we don't know where it is?
Well, that's a good question. The area that we do know is about 900 feet.
900 feet?
Yeah.
So almost a football field? Is that about right? 900 feet is... No, we're talking 30 yards. 900 feet is... 300 yards. 300 yards. So, right.
Yeah,
so
three
football fields. So the fire and the nuclear waste is about 3 football fields away.
Yeah.
And it's going to take 18 months to determine where to put the barrier. So the goal is you want 18 months or 3 football fields, whichever comes first.
Yes, they are doing some extensive fire control to stop it from spreading towards the nuclear waste. They're doing some, I hate to say this, but it's experimental technology to stall it or slow it down at least.
Worst case scenario, what happens if the fire ever reaches the nuclear waste?
Well, it would, according to the EPA's Office of Research and Development, it would potentially cause a release into the atmosphere, which, depending upon the wind direction and speed, it could disperse over quite a large area of St. Louis.
Oh, that's sobering.
Yeah, it's not good.
Yeah, at least we're worrying about Bill McCullough running a grand jury. All right, so what about water quality? Has it anything new on that?
We're waiting for the USGS to complete their study. The good news is that because of the efforts of the community and our federally elected officials, they have encouraged EPA to reach out to USGS and have a real water study done.
Right.
So that's in progress. It's been going on for quite a long time now, and hopefully that will be out soon, but we don't have a delivery date on that.
We also heard that there was a report that they did a cancer study, and there are infinitely more cancers in that region than normal.
Yes. Now we're kind of crossing into a broader area geographically that now includes, by the way, Ferguson and Florissant and North County area. Mm-hmm. Again, due to citizen efforts, the state of Missouri has been compelled and responded rather well to their request and did a first pass health study and came back with significantly higher than expected incidences of leukemia, significantly higher than expected incidences of childhood brain tumors, colon cancers, a whole list of other cancers came back significantly higher, to the point where they have now asked the federal government to speed up the cleanup of that area significantly, and in fact the words they use don't mince their point. They ask it to be cleaned up at the fastest possible rate.
Who said that? Who asked that? Who asked the federal government? The people who did the study?
A joint letter from our State Department of Health and Human Services and the Missouri Department of Natural Resources.
Asked the federal government to clean up the nuclear waste site as fast as possible.
Now this is not Westlake Landfill anymore. This is the sites they're already cleaning up in North County.
Okay.
There's an extensive cleanup taking place in North County as we speak.
Of nuclear waste sites.
Of nuclear waste. There's already been 13,000 train cars full of contaminated soils shipped out of the St. Louis area by the federal government.
How many? 13,000?
13,000.
That's been going on right now.
Yes, this has been going on since around 2005.
And these are sites that have already been decided that there's nuclear waste that needs to go away.
Yes, these are the sites that what was left over after these sites were contaminated, and the commercially viable materials were taken out.
Gotcha.
What was left ended up at Westlake Landfill.
Okay. So of these 13,000 railroad cars full of nuclear waste that's being already taken out, how many of these sites are 3 football fields away from a smoldering fire in a landfill?
Gee, give me a second. Let me count. None.
None. And they've already determined that these that are not 300 football fields near a landfill are so bad they need to be taken out.
Yes.
And the other nuclear waste that wasn't in these was transferred to the Bridgeton landfill. So it's the same stuff next to a burning, smoldering fire, and they're still going to take 18 months to determine where the nuclear waste is, just so we can tarp it to keep it away from the burning fire.
Yeah. In all fairness, the nuclear waste that's spread around North County is not mixed with municipal waste. It's not mixed with garbage.
Right.
The stuff over at Westlake is, and that makes it a much more challenging and complicated
because the
situation.
Garbage is so massive.
Massive, and this was, although it was a licensed landfill, it's a pre-regulation landfill.
Right.
No liner, no restrictions on what could have been dumped there.
Right.
So it's mixed in with all kinds of other.
So you're saying it was easier to take out the stuff they're taking out. This one's harder, but it's more dangerous.
We think it's dangerous. Yes.
One, because it's next to a fire, but two, it's
Oh, if the fire reaches it, it's serious.
Yeah.
Yeah. And as it sits, the as far as the population nearby being exposed. The increase in childhood brain cancers is in the Maryland Heights zip code, which is nearby. So we're trying to get more studies done in that area for potential diseases from exposure.
Is there anything?
We're still arguing with the government about how have people around there been affected by it or not.
Governor Nixon, Charlie Dooley, any elected official not doing what they should be doing on this? Is there anything anybody can do locally on this?
The only thing that really can be done at this point is for our federal delegation. That would be McClaskill, Senator Blunt. Clay, and Wagner.
Right.
For them to allocate to transfer the site over to the same program that's doing all the other cleanup.
Right.
That's one of the differences. Is there's 2 different jurisdictions going on here.
Right. So the only thing the local people can do is put pressure on the federal elected officials to get something done in Washington.
Yes, and to get it all put under the same jurisdiction that's already cleaning up North County.
And if I came to you and said, "I'll do anything you want," what do you want? Or what do the people there want?
They want it moved over so that there's an objective scientific evaluation done of what's really going on there so we can come up with the best solution.
Right.
The current way that Superfund works, which is the jurisdiction it's under, is not really serving the public's needs. So State Representative Bill Otto and the community are calling for it to be moved over to the proper jurisdiction.
Some scary stuff. Harvey Ferdman is a policy advisor for Representative Bill Ott, who was supposed to be here but got called away.
Otto.
Got called away in some type of emergency, right, or something?
Yeah, sorry about
good.
that.
Harvey, thanks for coming in. Sobering stuff.
Thank you.
8:30, Big 550.